I organized with ACT UP Philadelphia. That's the AIDS Coalition to Unleash Power. ACT Up Philadelphia was formed, I believe, in 1988. This is during this is the very beginning of HIV and AIDS, when people were dying in massive numbers. People were very angry. People came together in New York to demand that the government basically stop neglecting people, stop neglecting gay folks, queer folks. I started organizing with ACT UP probably 1996. I tried volunteering, but that just wasn't satisfying. So I came to ACT UP, where we were engaged in direct action. In a group like ours, everyone is equal. Everyone's opinion is the same, and everyone is valued the same. Receiving this award allows us to continue our work, and it's a big compliment to us that Bread and Roses actually believes in our work after all of these years, and they continue to fund it.
So the Asian MOSAIC Fund was formed when local Philadelphia leaders in the philanthropic sector saw a huge disparity in the funding for AAPI-led and serving communities. In 1992, they showed that of $19 billion that were provided and awarded to nonprofit organizations nationally, only about 0.18% or 35 million were provided to APIA-led or serving organizations.
So our Giving Circle model operates on the belief that all members of our communities can be philanthropists. And by leveraging our collective knowledge, skills, resources, funds, we can build shared power, shared voice, trust.
The Asian MOSAIC Fund is so honored to receive this award from Bread and Roses. As role models and community-led philanthropy, we have often looked at Bread and Roses to emulate and model some of our own Giving Circle operating models.
Abolitionist law we are a movement that is dedicated to ending prisons. We're also a movement dedicated to ending race and class-based discrimination in the criminal justice system. Ultimately, our objective is to end state violence that manifests itself through the judicial system. We also work to end long-term solitary confinement. I served 27 years in prison. Over 10 of those were spent in solitary confinement. The longest stretch that I stayed in solitary confinement was close to 3 years. We also fight to end death by incarceration, which are called life without parole sentences. I was sentenced to spend the rest of my life in prison for an offense that I participated in at the age of 16. I was very fortunate that a movement brought me home. What liberation looks like to us is continuing to build power for our people, for our communities, to continue to push and bring pressure upon the state, to continue to advocate against state violence.
So there were a number of different ways in which the organization actually started. We had a group of philanthropic professionals who were African American working in Philadelphia who were consistently seeing trends in our portfolios, trends that organizations that were led by people of color, particularly Black people, weren't able to pull down very traditional dollars. And there were just this group of us who understood, because we were professionals in philanthropy, we were actually seeing that happen in our own portfolios.
So we were able to raise over $100,000 this year from over 700 donors, which was absolutely mind-blowing and amazing at the same time. And we really worked in a grassroots way to move money by crowdsourcing of saying, who is fighting for liberation, who is on the front lines combating COVID-19, who is creating safety for our communities. And then we were able to make grants to healing organizations, educational organizations,
Arts, all kinds of ways in which you could think differently about how to address what's happening in the community around COVID.
The Philadelphia Community Bail Fund, we're a bail fund, so we raise money to post bail for people who can't afford to pay bail, with the goal of ending cash bail. So it's supposed to be set according to a person's ability to pay, because the whole point is that you get out with the promise that you'll come back. But yeah, it's just used as a pretext to hold people pre-trial, especially in Philadelphia, where the vast majority of people can't afford the bails that are set.
Back in 2017, there was a call that was put out for people to raise money and post bail for Black women. And that was the first Mama's Day in Philadelphia. We answered that call.
And we posted bail for 13 mothers. And then we had $40,000 left over.
Right.
And so we decided that we needed to stay together to spend down that money in the way that it was donated to us. So we decided this is a big need, so let's stay together and raise money to bail everybody who needs it in Philadelphia. So then it became the Community Bail Fund.
I've always been really curious about how we can be in right relationship with each other, how we can be in right relationship with the cities that we live in and their histories, how we reconcile the legacies of the communities around us with the realities of prefiguring the world we want. I got plugged in to work with more organizers by participating in my work with Girls Rock Philly. You know, our aspiration for the work at Girls Rock is, we're building liberatory futures through song and joy. By coming together and being creative together, working in collaborative spaces to learn how to unapologetically take up space, to advocate for ourselves, to demand the tools and resources that we need to build the world that we want together, and to do that with a joyful spirit. Like, that joy is a revolutionary force. Hearing about being nominated or being selected for this award was hard to accept, considering the kind of awe that I have for the organizers, for the leadership in Philadelphia. I mean, I've never seen anything so profound as the kind of fierce love that so many organizers show up with. I've had to learn, like, the kind of generosity and care of being seen and acknowledged in this way